Here's why I never pay a deposit on a property in South Africa unless I really have to. There's two simple ways you can acquire property, either with cash or using leverage. Both of them have their own advantages as well as disadvantages, and you kind of need to decide which one works for you. Majority of the time, South Africans don't just have cash laying around, so most people opt for leverage. But some people do have the cash available, so is it actually a good idea to use that cash to acquire property? That's what we are going to talk about in this video. Whether you are a first-time buyer, a first-time investor, or someone trying to grow their portfolio, this video is for you. So the idea behind buying a property cash is you buy it, it's yours, you get the title deed, it's lower risk, it's less stress, and it's easier. But with leverage, you have interest, you have a loan agreement with the bank, and it's never really your property until it's paid off. This is basically what people see when they compare the two. But what I like to focus on is something called cash on cash return. It basically means the return that you will receive based on the amount of cash that you had to put down to acquire a deal. That's what's going to determine whether it's worth the investment or not. So simply put, cash on cash return is your annual net income divided by the amount you had to put down, multiplied by 100 to give you a percentage form. And the higher that is, the better your return on investment is, and it means you are making more money. If your return is lower, it means you are making less money. So what I wanted to do is just to show you two examples of the same deal, one being bought with cash, one being bought with leverage, and what happens with the return on investment. This is simply to illustrate how it affects the return on investment on the two deals. But let's say, for example, you buy a property for 750,000 Rand. It is a multi-let property with an income of 12,500 Rand. After all of its expenses, you have 8,000 Rand that you can put in your pocket, but you had to pay 750,000 Rand cash as well as transfer fees of, let's say, 27,000 Rand. So you are 777,000 Rand in this deal. If we work out the cash on cash return, it's going to be around 12%. It's a pretty decent return if you think of it and compare it to other investments. But let's use that same deal and say we use 100% financing to buy the same deal and we don't use our money at all. The only money that we will have to spend is transfer cost and registration cost. That ends up being around 60,000 Rand. No matter what, that's cash that you have to pay in any way. So using the same example, a property of 750,000 Rand with an income of 12,500 Rand, after all of its expenses and now accounting for the bond cost as well, this property will generate around 885 Rand cash flow every single month, or around 10,000 Rand every single year. If we work out the cash on cash return now, because we have a much lower cash investment, the return is going to go up. So it brings us to a cash on cash return, or a return on investment, of 18%. So it's almost 6% better because we decided to use financing. That's basically the principle of using debt. It increases your return on investment because you have less cash invested. Of course, there's disadvantages, there's more risk, there's interest, there's other things that can go wrong. But if you're young, you have a good risk appetite, you are smart, you have skill with debt, and you have a longer term mindset, debt is probably the way to go, especially if you want to actually grow a massive property portfolio. So the reason I don't pay a deposit on a property is because it brings down my cash on cash return. It also means I have to use my own cash to acquire a deal that I could have acquired using the bank's money. In the example where I bought the property with 100% finance and getting an 18% return on investment, if I had to pay just a 10% deposit, the return on investment drops from 18% to 14%, just because I had to put down 75,000 Rand extra. So I like to avoid paying a deposit unless I really have to, because eventually you'll run out of affordability and you have to pay deposits. But here's what I like to do instead. Instead of paying the deposit in the beginning, I would rather take that money and get 100% financing, and then later on, once the bond is already registered, I will pay that initial deposit into your access bond But the key difference here is that I still have access to that money. Think of it, if we buy a property and we pay 10% deposit, we pay 75,000 Rand to the attorneys, that money goes directly to the bank and we'll never be able to get access to that money again. But if we finance it at 100%, and then once the bond is registered, we pay that 75,000 Rand into your bond account. The cool thing is you still have access to that 75,000 Rand, but you still get the benefits of either reducing your loan term or reducing your monthly payment. So to put this into perspective, the bank gives you two Access Bond options. The first one, like I mentioned, reduces your monthly term, but it keeps your monthly repayment the same. And the second option reduces your monthly repayment, but it keeps your loan term the same. You can decide which one you prefer, but again, the key advantage here is that you can get access to that money if you had to pay for another property's transfer cost, renovations, or if you wanted to go to Mauritius. The reason people prefer paying deposits is specifically to save on monthly cost, and that is a good idea overall. But I always tell people you should always have access to your money. Again, imagine you buy a property cash for 750,000 Rand, and after a few months you need more money to buy a different property, or you need to buy a new car, or whatever it might be. All of your money will be stuck within that property deal. Instead of doing that, you can finance the deal and then pay your extra amount or the initial amount or whatever amount you have available into the Access Bond, but again, you still have access to that money. That's the main thing people don't understand, and why something like an Access Bond is a good way to kind of create an emergency fund or extra savings. Although there's still risk involved with Access Bonds, like if you miss a payment or if you pay late or whatever it might be, they can close your Access Bond, but obviously that's something that we completely want to avoid. If you're someone trying to grow your property portfolio and you have limited cash available, this is also a massive advantage because you always want access to your capital. The more capital you have available, the more deals you can eventually acquire because you have cash. Understanding how debt works is going to be a key factor in this strategy, and you need to be someone that's confident, someone that has good money habits, good personal finance, someone that has the emotional intelligence to manage money correctly. Otherwise, you might make a few mistakes. If you guys wanted to find out more, I actually have a case study and live deal membership where I talk with real people, help real beginners, and talk about tips and tricks that I don't share with the public. If you wanted to check that out, I'll leave a link down in the description. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below.